We've got Mevius versus Inside Job. So of that match we just watched, the beginning 10 seconds of or whatever, the Mevius versus Keen, it does look like Keen made his way to the finals. Mevius got knocked down to the lower bracket semis. Okay, I'm not screwing around anymore. We're just going to cast from here on. Let me fix the scoreboard. IJ versus Mevius. All right, Celador, you're saving me a lot of time. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not even going to record. I'm not going to record this. I'm just going to cut it. All right, Mevius in the bottom right, blue Protoss. It looks like IJ deciding to switch back to Terran when facing up and against Mevius here in the lower bracket semifinals. The loser of this series will be knocked out, and the winner will go on to face Keen in the finals to promote to level 2 at this point. Because at this point, we had not had full level 2 brackets. Everyone was still fighting for level 2 slots. Around 47 minutes. Okay, so only 47 minutes of wasted cast time. Repeat episodes. Now IJ building everything up here in the top. Not sure I understand why. Gateway, gas. Everything looking okay. See if... Okay, IJ was peeking over here. Like I said, this is kind of an interesting time when this bracket was held, in the sense that I don't think everyone really knew the map. The map was still relatively new. But they had just played essentially a full bracket to get to where they are, with this map being the first map in the best of 3 series. So I'm wondering if IJ had seen something where there was shenanigans taking place over here, specifically against Protoss, that he was checking for. All right, SCV is going to come in here. Mevius still has not sent a scout. Seeing one gate, he's counting the 2 pylons. Cybernetics core is blinking, gonna get that range. I just got his 2 Marines up here at the top of the ramp. He's getting a factory. See if IJ here in the next couple of supply decides to go and expand. Getting his 3rd Marine. Okay, it does look like he's gonna probably expand now. We've got Dragoons under production for Mevius. All right, poking back up in here with the SCV. He's going to see the first Dragoon. I guess the second Dragoon. He's going to see this one as well. Pushes it away after having his Vulture out in time. Yeah, this looks like a pretty standard kind of like 5-fact opening. See if he decides to opt to go more straight tanks, or if he'll bulk up his Vulture count. Looks like he's going to go straight to tanks. But he's also going to start researching mines. Now range is done, so he's going to start plinking away at this this bunker. IJ tries to jump out real quick, get some extra damage on these Dragoons. Now the tank, right on time. Okay, Dragoons are getting a little bit banged up. He's got his 3 SCVs here to counteract the damage from the 3 Dragoons. This looks like IJ is going to be just fine. Okay, IJ's mined up the main approach from Mevius's base. And Mevius opting to go observers. Get those out, start protecting himself against the mines. So no early Reaver tech or anything. Everything's kind of very straight up play from both players. Now we have 2 tanks. We'll see if IJ wants to start pushing. Looks like he does. He's going to bring 3 SCVs along as well. They're going to start tanking some of the hits here from the Dragoons. And he's going to push these back. Now, he might push them back into these mines. This could be a really cool connection. Oh, he gets one. Damages another one. And that's going to definitely help this push. That was a cool play, cool setup. I don't know where the other mines went. I know there was 3 initially set out there. I didn't see the first 2 get popped. Okay, so IJ's going to have a pretty commanding spot here. He's got the SCVs back here to also repair as needed. Nice mine placement. Okay, only 2 tanks though. SCVs are going down. A little bit clunky. The wall's doing a good job of just messing up the movement here. And IJ's going to have to sit back here and just kind of plink away. But 5 Dragoons, I feel like, can come up here and just start sniping these tanks. Yep, 1 down. This is going to force IJ back. Okay, good defense there by Mevius. But IJ also succeeded in getting him off his front lawn. Let's see what's going on in the bases. All right, eBay is down. Not seeing any turrets as of yet. Going more into Vulture production. Getting siege mode. Oh, I didn't realize he didn't have siege mode. Yeah, that would have changed that whole engagement. Alright, Mevius continuing to make observers. Is getting the Citadel of the Dune placed in his base as well. Okay, and these turrets are going to push back this observer. He's not going to see nothing. And IJ is doing a good job of being all over the map, keeping an eye out. He's probably going to come down here, put some mines at these potential expansion locations. And he's just kind of in recovery mode, rebuilding his army. It's a lot of goons. Patrol group of goons. Looks like it might be out on the hunt. We'll see if Mevius is just trying to clear his way for an expansion, or if he's going to try to get some damage with this. Sends his observer and finds that mine. Okay, cool. He had another one with this group. Alright, IJ getting to mining this base. Currently sitting at 4 gateways. And getting a Stargate. Now, back on the Terran base, we have a little bit of a factory explosion. Starting to get up to 5 factories. 2 with machine shops. So this is where the Terran engine is going to start really going into production mode. And Mevius is getting his 3rd here. Yeah, good point, Rice Hat. The supplies are pretty crazy different. Wonder why. If that was just a production thing, maybe the factories were a little bit late. I mean, he lost a couple of tanks early on, but he wasn't really getting like messed with too hard. Alright, goons are snooping and pooping. They're going to check up here. They're going to confirm that there's no third base at this location for IJ. He already has an observer over here, so he feels pretty confident he knows what the situation is from the Terran player. Okay, we have a lot more tanks this time with siege mode. We've got fast vultures with mines. Beavis is getting his armor and melee attack upgrades going, so we're probably going to see a transition here, or at least a supplement of a bunch of zealots to the Goon army. Yeah, there they are. He's already way ahead of me. He's already doing it. Alright, third is up and running. Observer's seeing everything. And IJ seems to be catching up on supply here, right? So he's got these 5 factories. He's got them pumping. This is where he can really make up a lot of ground if he's left uncontested. Now, if he kind of seals off this area, which is a little tough to seal off. It hasn't been contested too much as of yet, but if he wants to expand over here, this becomes kind of a natural battleground on the map. Looks like Mevius has gone out and expanded to his 4th. And we've got Stasis and Arbiter Tech on the way. That's going to wreak havoc on these tanks over here. Now, he does have a starport being built. We'll see if he gets some science vessels to EMP the Arbiters or D-Matrix his tanks. Or if he ends up going something, I don't know, maybe Wraith. Maybe Drops. Alright, we have a third CC that has been constructed, just needs to be lifted off. But right now, IJ wants to secure kind of the route to this base. I think this is the one that he's going to want to take. Good amount of tanks here. Don't know if there's any Arbiters out on the field as of yet. This is kind of a scary like flank setup, though. We'll see if he ends up having to siege here. Okay, so he does siege right here in the middle of the map. That's going to be tough. Tough to get into for Mevius. Like, this is deep. It's not just a single line. Oh, man. This engagement looks like it's actually going really well for... well, I thought it was going well for IJ, but the Zealots find their way in. They're gonna wipe out all these tanks. Oh, man. Okay, that flopped on its head real fast. That was definitely a very good engage for Mevius. You can see now supply difference of 60 between the two. Now, there's a lot of mines here, and with the Arbiter, right, like Stasis is research, but I don't think there's a recall available for him to dive in with. Yeah, Toss just crushed in the middle of the map right there. He was hitting from all sides. At first I was like, yeah, that's going to be really cool. And then I thought, oh no, he's out of position. He's going to trickle in. But he just had so much, he just overwhelmed. Once the Zealots got on there, they were just the eraser to all the tanks that were sitting there without any remaining Vulture support. Mevius sitting at 160 supply. He hasn't shown his Arbiters yet either, for what it's worth. EMP is being researched, so it does seem like the starport is here to start getting some science vessels into play. And Mevius has good vision with his observers. over all the potential expansions. He knows that IJ is stuck on 2 bases to his 4. So he doesn't need to really compete in the economic front. He's crushing. He just needs to continue building a huge army, get the upgrades, and prepare for a strong push. Now, I'm wondering what the thought process is here from Mevius, whether it makes more sense to wait until IJ pushes, or to start kind of attriting him. Go in, start knocking things down, since he knows he has kind of this economic lead and military lead. Now you can just, tip the scales over time. Okay, so IJ does opt to try to take this base. I imagine this is going to trigger a reaction. The observer's there. He knows Mevius is reacting. He's bringing his whole army over here to the top left. Now, this is a scary tank line. But we'll see if the Arbiters come up and stasis them out. Okay, there's the mines. Alright, and here we go. Alright, Zealots are running in. They're taking a lot of these mine hits, but they are getting on top of many of these tanks. Not a whole lot of mine drags either. So that's good for IJ, but really there's just so much toss. These tanks are unsieged at the moment, and that's just going to get completely cleaned up. IJ sees it, and he says, GG! Protossed. So that's lower bracket semifinals. So that's going to put Mevius up 1-0 in the series. Let's go into game number 2. Metropolis. I struggle a lot against Mevius. He wipes the floor with me whenever I play him. Very strong Protoss player. All right, Mevius, our blue Protoss down in the bottom right. IJ continuing with his Terran onslaught up in the top left. Can't 4-pool with Terran. Again, the winner of this match will go on to the finals to face Keen. Now, Keen in the last match was playing Zerg. I don't know if he's going to stay with Zerg in the finals. We'll have to see. Might be matchup dependent. Oh, you're saying Mevius has problems with 2-fact? I will keep that in mind. To be fair, I think 2-fact is kind of the tough build for Protoss in general. It's kind of like the Protoss killer. You have cross spawn. We're not going to be seeing a Nexus first or anything though from Mevius. I'm not really aware of any crazy early game plays on this map either. Really, the most fun things I like seeing on Metropolis is just using, like the whoops. Shoot, I forgot how to show the whole map. Just using like these huge swaths of open area and like behind the mineral lines to do cool things. But otherwise, it feels like Metropolis, like the entire game is just fighting over like these intersections at both bases. Like right here and right here is what I imagine pretty much the entirety of the fight is going to be on. Alright, so neither player going to get a first scout. And if IJ like end scouts, he's going to end up seeing the Protoss base last. Looks like similar build so far as last time. Probably just a factory expand. Now there still is opportunity for a 2-fact here. Well, he already took off gas though, so yeah, he's definitely going to expand. He also does do the end scout. Alright, so he's going to pick off the probe before it gets to see anything. But now Mevius at least knows it's cross spawn. And it looks very similar, right? He's going to go into Dragoon range. Probably walk across the map, link at a bunker for a good minute. We'll see what direction it goes from there. Now, last game, what we saw from IJ was a single vulture. He ran out, got behind the initial Dragoons, placed some mines. That was pretty successful early on. After getting some success with that, he then pushed with 2 tanks, a couple SCVs, and a couple Marines. And that's where I think like the initial scales tilted, is that engagement didn't really go very well for IJ. And it allowed Mevius to kind of wipe the board of all that and put IJ kind of on the back foot where he had to play catch up. So we'll see how this goes now. He has his initial vulture heading out. He does have the machine shop. He is going straight into tanks. So right now, from a build perspective, it's pretty much the same thing. We've got 2 3rd Dragoon heading across. And we'll probably have mines being upgraded, yep. And then we'll probably see IJ probably like mine this area, I would imagine. If not that, then maybe go up here to that expansion. Ooh, what's this? We'll have to keep an eye on that SCV, see what it's up to. Okay, so plinking away at the bunker. We do have a tank down here. Play catch up. I love catch up. I've recently discovered currywurst, and kind of like the simple homemade currywurst sauce. You can use ketchup. I've been doing that a lot recently. Any authentic Germans would probably freak out at me. It needs to be like tomato paste or something, but it does the trick. All right, yeah, so talking about mine placement, same thing we saw on Litmus. Probably a little bit less effective than on Litmus. Obviously, Litmus has very limited avenues of approach. But we're seeing the same 2-tank push. Now, he's having the initial success like he did last time. If these Dragoons run into those mines just like last time, it's pretty interesting. Just very deja vu. Oh no, he's going to run around this one. Oh, but this one... Ah! Boom! Get mined. Okay, so this is going well so far for IJ. Now, last time IJ wasn't able to have siege up in time for this attack. We're seeing a similar thing, right? So we're having vanilla tanks, as it were, come down here. Now he's losing these vultures for free. Ah, dang it! It's more of the same, right? But this time, IJ protects his tanks. That's huge. I think that's a really big deal. Because now there's not going to be kind of the same opportunity for a crackback as last time. And because of just the nature of this map, right? It's big, it's cross-spawn. IJ's going to be able to get a lot more like maneuverability with his vultures. He's going to have a lot more mines going out. What is this? What is that building? All right, whatever. What's up here? We have a gateway. Okay, we have observers coming out. Okay, so Mevius doesn't like losing Dragoons to the mines. So before he moves out again, he's going to have these observers. Last time how we saw his observer play, he sent the observers out first, and then with like the second observer, started doing mine clearing operations. So we'll see if that's kind of a pattern of his. We do have the 2 observers now. It looks like he'll just keep them together. Got Vulture doing Vulture things. Nope. See? He sends this one out across. He's going to get eyes on where the minefields are. He's going to bulk up his Dragoon count, and then he's going to start clearing with these. He's just going to start kind of zigzagging all over the place, killing mines as he goes. We'll see if he ends up getting a third off of this quickly as well. So 2 tanks that didn't die. They came home and were like, hey, we're going to chill here. Got another tank up in the main. Now this tells me IJ's a little bit more concerned about potential like Reaver drop or maybe, you know, Templar drop. Oh, but IJ gets... He snuck in a couple Vultures. He's getting probe kills. Now if he can get a mine drag... Oh, okay. Mevius ends up killing the mine. But I love it when cheeky little mines that are hidden in like the mineral patches end up just doing inordinate amount of damage to just some random unit that walks by, killing all the probes. Oh, feels so good. Chef's kiss. Almost as good as ketchup. All right, we are getting our factories up and going. We're going to have our 5 factories. Our tank count is looking better than last time. The supply isn't super crazy disparity. This looks normal. Caster bias towards Terran? Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe it's just a caster bias against Protoss. I think that's what it is. Damn. Alright, Beavis is doing that mine clearing thing we were talking about earlier. Supply depot here. I like this with the turret. Because, like, you can completely flip a game on its head by just dropping a Reaver here. Like a Reaver that just gets dropped here that isn't properly scouted or have visibility for tanks to shoot it can just annihilate an entire natural. So IJ has clearly learned that lesson. There's a ton of tanks. But we also saw last time, okay, so last game, what we also saw from Mevius was he got this huge Dragoon army. He started, you know, doing his mine clearing. And then we saw kind of a transition into massing of zealots, right? Which is pretty natural because he's not losing these. He's keeping these alive. He's getting his third. And then he's going to start just pumping a ton of zealots, I think. Maybe not right now. And that'll get him all on top of those tanks. And that's where the game, last game, kind of solidified the position for Mevius. It was like, okay, this is now Mevius drastically ahead. His game to lose after the engagement in the middle of the map. All right. IJ is starting to feel comfortable with his tank count. He's got a full control group plus. They are derping hard right here. Gosh, tanks are so smart. I don't know what the demographic is for having terrible drivers, but they threw them all in siege tanks. All right, mining out. This is that key intersection on Metropolis that we were talking about earlier as well. Like, this is what decides so many games. I wonder what this guy was up to. I feel like a mine could do the same job this SCV is doing. Maybe he's just on a smoke break. All right, 4th base potentially going up for Mevius here soon. All right, Mevius got the cash. He threw it down. I just got a bunch of cash as well. And he's just throwing it into the 5 factory production. Getting his starport up. Last time we saw starport, I think it was this game, right? Or these two. No, actually, I don't think we saw IJ get into starport tech last game. If he did, he got like a science vessel with like EMP, but it never came in handy against the Arbiters. The Arbiters were never even used. Now, speaking of Arbiters, somewhere around here. Boom. Arbiter Tribunal. Finishing up. We've got the Zealot production underway. So once Mevius has his Zealots comfortable, now last time we saw him attack around 150, 160 supply. This game, it happens to be when he's getting his 4th about finished, and so this might be the trigger for him to start posturing. Alright, he's got this control group poking up here, seeing that there's nothing here at the 3rd. Got another control group over here on kind of the northeastern side. Just keeping an eye on this avenue approach. And we've got a metric shit ton of tanks. Tanking. Okay. Looks like this is setting up to be an initial engagement over this expansion. Again, calling back to last game, that's when Mevius wanted to... that was kind of like his second big push, was when IJ was trying to take a 3rd base. And so this observer is catching it. He has this observer over here too. Where is it? There it is. Alright, and so that's going to trigger a reaction. He's going to take this control group up here, knock out the turret. He might even pick this CC. Now the tanks can see it. The Dragoons might get a few pot shots off. Okay, I think the CC is going to be okay. I don't think it's the right call to try to push that with the goons. Mevius agrees. He falls back. And this is just incredible. Yeah, that goon got mega killed. Alright, now IJ trying to get around. Drop the mines in the path of the reinforcements. Getting some connections. Escalate, I feel like that's audience bias towards Protoss. We don't accept that. Okay, now the science vessel's out. We got some Goliaths that could pick off these observers. It looks like IJ's going to try to make a move for the middle of the map. Now Mevius, look, he like control groups out all the way across the map, and we're going to see another engagement just like last game, where he's going to hit from all sides. And this time the big difference is he has an Arbiter. Is this a stasis? No, no stasis needed. He's just going to kill it all. Holy crap. IJ doesn't even play the rest. Protoss. Oh my goodness, that engagement was incredible. I want to see it again. Okay, so what we were talking about was Mevius' positioning, right? He's got these control groups. Like, look, they're so pretty on the map. IJ comes into the middle, huge siege line. And then the wraparound with these zealots. Notice where all the vultures are. They're all down here, over here. The zealots just thread the needle. Whether it was luck or whatever, like that was just insane. That was so many tanks. Oh my gosh. That's keyboard breaking worthy right there. All right, so Mevius is going to take the lower bracket semifinals 2-0 against IJ, and that's going to bring us to the Brood War number 8 finals.